Hello, everyone, here at the Coherence Meditation Gym. Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone, here at the Coherence Meditation Gym. This is part 2 of the explanation of Blessing of the Energy Centers 1 from Dr. Joe Dispenza. This is meant to be a casual conversation where I'm going to go through my notes that I have taken from the explanation that comes with BOTEC1. And this is in preparation for our meditation tomorrow morning. So hopefully you have time to take a look at this video, and if not, we always have another scheduled Blessing of Energy Center meditation, synchronized meditation in group. So look for the events here at the Coherence Meditation Gym. And if you're not a part of it and you're watching this as a recording, you can click on the link somewhere around here to log in and join the gym. Okay, so this is the follow-up on, there's another video of the first part. This second part, I'm going to keep it short and simple. There's a lot of technical terms, so I'm going to be referring to the notes a lot and reading from them that I took from his explanation, because it really gets down to the atom and how basically our energy works, our field, our body, and how when we are blessing each energy center, what is going on. Basically, it's an explanation of, or at least the intention that we have to influence our cells. So we already know where they are. In the previous video, I explained where each energy center is. We're working with 8 energy centers, starting with I was going to say the root chakra, but Dr. Joe doesn't speak in chakras, he speaks in energy centers. So we start at the perineum, and then we work up to energy center 8 above our head. So in this one, the first one, which is obviously it's great to start with number 1 because each one builds upon the next, and we are setting the intention to bless the energy center with the greatest good, for their greatest good. So that is the intention that we're sitting down with when we are going to focus on each one of our energy centers, and that is going to mean something for everyone. But in general, we're with our intention, what is a blessing to you? So that may evoke many different, our imagination in different ways. But when we think about the greatest good, we want the greatest good for ourselves, and we are focusing on what I like to think is loving ourselves into life, and loving ourselves into life, giving energy, giving life to our own selves with our focus. So we're going to work with the divergent and the convergent focus, and what those are is, so the convergent focus, we're focusing on the cell, like it's a narrow focus. And then the divergent focus, it's when we're focusing around the energy around the energy center. So divergent focus, open, convergent focus, narrow and focused. Cell, narrow and focused. The energy around it, divergent focus. So it's in, out, or out, in, however you want it. But that is, our energy flows where the focus is. So when we focus on energy center 1, our energy center is going to go, all our energy is going to go to where the focus is, and then we're going to focus in those 2 ways, narrow focus and open focus. And thinking about, okay, well, we have the intention of blessing it for the greatest good with the narrow and open focus. And so that is the exercise. That's the focus of opening the focus to the energy around it, narrowing it down to the cell. And so we move up. And when we are in the state of the meditative state, and he's prompting us, we're slowing our brain waves down. And as we slow our brain waves, we are going from the beta brainwave to alpha, and for some to theta. And I really love when he says, every time I listen to an explanation, like everything, right? When we read a book and we read it again, and it's like you get something more. The part about opening the door, and this thing about the door, if you've been down to Cancun, to Tulum, and there is the Mystica, the museum. Not to go too much off track, but I like to bring in things that just come to my mind, and hopefully it gives you something, to visually help with this, what we're working on, which is something that is not really an intellectual. There's an intellectual component, but there's also another component that is our imagination, right? Tapping into like something beyond that. We have to create things in our mind, to these concepts, to help us get to these places, right? So the door. There's a place, the museum down in Tulum, that is Mystica, and it has doors, and this museum is created by Pepe Soho. Pepe Soho, I believe his name is, and he is a student of Dr. Joe, and there are doors in this museum outside. So many doors. There is art from just doors, multiple places where there's beautiful doors. And personal experience, when I had my mystical moment with the pineal gland meditation on day 4 of my retreat, that door, I saw a door. And so you walking in through this place. So after we've gone up, these changed our brain, our brainwave, going to, there's this point where we go out to space, to the quantum field. And that requires that our brainwaves have slowed down to these patterns. So such a fascinating thing that's what we're doing. And of course that requires for our brain to be, our thoughts to be put aside. We can't be thinking about the body needing to go to the bathroom, needing to go get coffee. We've passed that. We're reached the door, open up, and we're going out to whatever we want to call it, the quantum, the field, the space of nowhere, no time, no thing. Okay, so from that point, that's where we can actually reprogram the autonomic nervous system and bring it back to balance. So when we become aware of the space around our body and the space that our energy field, so after we've gone to 8, then he asks us to focus our attention to our energy field, which is like arm's length, like 360 degrees. And that energy is our true self. And he asks us to, to glow, to radiate. And so, coming from energy center 8, which is like tapping into that, receiving information from a different, from the field, then we're able to reprogram the autonomic nervous system. So I'm going to read this part now because it's so to understand the atom level, like the atoms and the molecules. So we understand that atoms come together and form molecules that then form chemicals, and chemicals form cells, and cells form tissues, and tissues form organs, and organs make up the systems of our body, and our body is an accumulation of light and information. It's the atom that connects to a molecule, and they begin to shape energy and information, and they bond together. And that new field of information that they share is holding matter together. That's a really important part because we are blessing or imbuing each energy center with new energy. And that's what holds matter together. And imagine if what we're doing is obviously coherent energy, which what does that mean? There's order. It's not incoherent. There is no dis-ease. It is not off out of whack. We're bringing in new information, a new energy, coherent energy into that smallest field where the atom and that connects to the molecule, and they begin to share energy information, and they bond together, and that new field of information that they share is holding matter together. So as we go from atom to molecule to chemical, from chemical to cell, cell has its own field of energy and information around it. And when the cell is emitting the same frequency as the cell next to it, they are on the same radio station, and they can exchange information. And the inner workings of the cell, when the cell is emitting coherent light and information, it's what is instructing the cell into health and balance and information. Oh, and information biology tells us that it is not charged molecules that are causing the cells to behave a certain way. It is the energy information around the cell that is instructing the cell and all of its trillions of functions that are happening every second, and cell to cell, exchanging the same frequency and exchanging the same information is what creates balance and health. I'm going to reread the little part there just to get it again. So it is not it's the energy and the information around the cell that is instructing the cell and all of its trillions of functions. So that is really important information because, if the energy around it is incoherent, then there is incoherence in wherever that cell is. So if we're bringing that new energy that is coherent, that is what is going to influence the cell, which is going to bring it into balance and health. And so if we think about having 50 to 70 trillion cells that make up our body, and these cells form tissues, and the tissues that form organs, and organs that form systems, and different systems have different energy and information. that they are drawing from, and the harmonics of that are drawing uh, um, from this energy. So the harmonics of the different systems produces an invisible field around our body, and when we draw from the field that radiant vital energy, we turn it into chemistry. We become more matter and less energy. We are feeling separate from the quantum field. We are no longer connected to energy and information. So this part is talking about when we are like living from the hormones of stress. We are more dense. We're more matter. We're disconnecting from the field. But when we are light, when we're there's balance and order in our cells, in our energy systems, we become light. We become less matter and more energy, and then we're not drawing from this field. So we need that when we're in stress, the body needs that energy to turn it into chemistry. So our energy field shrinks. And if you have watched the videos from the progressive, or even in his books, there are the when there's a certain machine that can take like pictures of the light from these from our energy centers, and there are some like before and after of people that where their energy fields are like outside of the body, like they're not in that beautiful order and color, as they were meant to be, as they are when they're operating at its optimal place. So like you know, there's the before, the energy fields are kind of like all over the place, some closer, some further away. But then after you do a blessing of the energy centers, then they're beautifully synchronized up through your body. So that's what I think about when thinking about the field, the way that each one has a field of information, and it's meant to be in a certain place of the body. And then so as we bless each one, then we're bringing it back into order, and kind of putting it in place, and organizing all the molecules and all the all the biology that exists inside of our beautiful body. And then and we're not needing to draw from that field around us that's creating all those chemicals that is shrinking and shrinking our field. So that's the visuals that I personally get. And yeah, so disconnecting, that totally makes sense to me. When we're in stress, we're disconnected, and that as a coach, that's something that I it's very easy for me to convey that to people that I coach. It's like we go offline when we're in stress. We like there's no Wi-Fi because we're operating from survival. We're fight, flight, freeze, and we're more matter. Totally makes sense because we need to survive right here, right now. There's danger. But when we are coherent, when we are, when we have heart-brain connection, we're coherent, then there's no need to be drawing in from the field. So, okay, and so finally, so we're in energy center 8. We receive. We allow the atoms, the molecules, the chemicals, the cells, the tissue, the organs, all our systems to draw from a new field of energy and information, and to begin to build our own field again. And okay, this is a really important part, and this is just perhaps homework for you if you're interested. because I really try to understand this piece in a way that I could explain, but I'm not quite there. I just wanted to leave it here because he touches on the laws of thermodynamics, of the syntropy and entropy. But all I can say is that, that the when we are in stress, when we're disconnected from the field, we're living in separation, and we're more matter and less energy, and we're subject to the laws of thermodynamics. And the second law says that things break down in the universe that are physical. If we have a broad field of energy around our body, we can experience syntropy. So when our energy field is so beautiful, radiant, we're like emanating, flowing light, we experience syntropy or order. And that means that there is a reverse of entropy. And when there is a reverse of entropy, it makes sense that the body moves back into homeostasis and into balance. So I think that's what we need to know. We don't need that. I mean, it'd be beautiful for me to understand really thermodynamics, but I guess I could, I don't need to intellectually understand that it completely makes sense that when we are when we have a broad field around us and we're not drawing that energy into chemistry, then it's like we're really operating at our optimal state, the way that our body was truly designed to work, which is to be renewing itself. It's a system that is operating at its most beautiful state. All right, everyone. So I am super excited to meditate with you tomorrow morning if you are here at the Coherence Meditation Gym and you're joining us. And if you're watching this as a recording and it's past the date, please join us because there's always a meditation coming up. And it is a beautiful thing to gather together in synchronized meditation. It's really powerful when we do it in group. And please feel free to make comments here to continue to engage in this conversation. I do my best to respond, and if others want to add their own take as we grow together, we evolve together. That is the point here. And please subscribe to this if you're watching it on YouTube so you get notifications, and join us at the gym. All right, everyone, have a beautiful evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Lots of love.